Hi everybody, welcome to Squishy Reads. I'm Sydney and today I want to tell you all about my, although belated, March 2020 TBR. So, for March of 2020, I have more to read than is in the stack next to me. I will be, of course, doing my new series of Manga Monday. I am currently working through the series of unfortunate events and doing that as part of a series, but I'm also doing the Backlist Readathon, which I should be posting a TBR for either before or after I post this. I think I will have posted that TBR right before this one. But the Backlist Readathon goes from March 9th to March 15th. That TBR will be in a different video. I'm also doing the Spring into Reading-A-Thon, which goes from March 19th to March 29th. That TBR will be in yet another video. But for non-series or readathon associated books, I have quite a few because, as I mentioned in the TBR video for a Backlist Readathon, the virus that shall not be named has left me with quite a bit of free time due to canceled conventions and shows and all that stuff. So I have more time to work on me, work on my career, learn new things, read, and work on YouTube, which hopefully will be awesome. So, we're going to start out with the 3 physical library books that I have. These I picked up a while back. Well, 2 of them I picked up a while back. 1 of them I picked up within the last week-ish. But I've renewed them and have the intention to read them. These I have zero clue about. I picked them up because they're pretty, except for 1. So the first one is Little Girls. It is a graphic novel. It is by, I'm gonna completely butcher this name, Nicholas Aflahay? Sorry for mispronouncing. That has a lot of consonants in a very small space and I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry. And also Sarah Delane. I have no idea what it's about. I'm assuming it's slightly creepy. It was in the YA section of my library. The art is very colorful, slightly morbid, a little bit on the minimalistic side, which can be nice. Looking forward to that. No idea what it's about. I typically don't like to look into what graphic novels are about, simply because they're so short as is. I want to just be surprised. And for book 2 out of the library stack is The Night Country, I Can't Read, by Melissa Albert. This is actually one that I kind of know about. It is a It is the sequel to The Hazelwood. 1 second, be right back. Woo! I have a probably very short gig tomorrow, but it's a gig, which is awesome. Anyway, like I was saying, this is The Night Country by Melissa Albert. It is the second book of the Hazelwood series. I believe I gave the Hazelwood 4 stars. It was something that I slightly related to Inkheart in a mysterious world associated with books, very fantastical. Definitely had strong Inkheart vibes, which I enjoyed. And I'm looking forward to this. This was also on the new releases section from my library in the YA, which is right by the entrance to the library, which is terrible. I always just make a hard left and look there and pick up whatever looks shiny. Which is how this one came about. My 3rd book for the month of March, that is my last physical library book, is Pet by, I'm very sorry if I pronounce this wrong, Akweki Emezi. Very sorry if I mispronounce this. I believe this is allegorical about racism. The back says, the problem is when you think you've been without monsters for so long, sometimes you forget what they look like, what they sound like, no matter how much remembering your education urges you to do. It's not the same when the monsters are gone. You're only remembering shadows of them, stories that seem to be limited to pages or screens you read them from. flat and dull things. So yes, people forget, but forgetting is dangerous. Forgetting is how monsters come back. This book looks very short. It is like 200 something pages, I believe. 204 pages. It is short, the text is large, but I believe it's allegorical. The monsters that are spoken about on the back, I believe they're talking about actual monsters in the book, but obviously I think it's an allegory about racism and how racism and slavery predominantly, and it's probably talking about how we are taught about the segregation, we are taught about racism, and you kind of remember it, but you tend to forget it. And then if you forget it, it will come back, which is one of my favorite quotes, who I can't remember who it's from. I think it was Woodrow Wilson. I could be wrong. But the quote is, "Those who forget about history are doomed to repeat it," which is referring to things like the Holocaust, but can also be referring to slavery, which I am very much looking forward to this book. I really hope that's what this book is about. But then again, it might not be an allegory at all, and it might literally be about monsters and reading about them in history books, but I highly doubt it. I'm almost certain it's an allegory. And then that is it for my physical library books. I am going to be getting 2 books from Hoopla. If you guys do not know what Hoopla is, it is fantastic. So, everybody knows what Overdrive and Libby are. Overdrive and Libby are the way that you can get, if of course your library subscribes to it, it's the way that you can get books from, ebooks from your local library. The only problem with Overdrive and Libby, especially for comics and graphic novels, is that it's very easy to wait like 3 months for an ebook or an e-comic book. And that is where Hoopla steps in. Not a sponsor, but it's really awesome. So Hoopla is also a subscription that your library has. I don't know if the same amount have it or if less have it. The main difference with Hoopla is that, unlike with Libby, which you can check out like 20, 25 books at a time, Hoopla, you have 10 checkouts at one time. Each checkout, I believe, lasts for 21 days. They specialize in audiobooks and comics and graphic novels. They do have some novels there, but they have a much smaller selection than your own library probably does on Overdrive and Libby. Now, depending on what your library subscribes to with them, depends on how many you have, like how many rentals you have. I have 10, which is the most that you can have. My local library system is fantastic and apparently subscribes to the highest model. I've heard of some places only having 2 or 3 a month. It resets to the first of every month. But the biggest benefit to it is there is 0 wait time. There are unlimited amount of copies. And what is fantastic for is those graphic novels, which you might have a 6-month wait, which is where I am coming from whenever I talk about Saga. Saga by Brian K. Vaughan, Volume 9, at my library has a wait of like 4 months, which is horrible. But if I'm to get it through Hoopla, which I will, you get it same day, and you have it for 21 days. It is great. And so I'm going to be reading that this month, and I am also going to be reading Volume 3 of Y the Last Man, which is also by Brian K. Vaughan. Just gonna get all the Brian K. Vaughan on. Watch me just do a Brian K. Vaughan reading video. I might include, I think it's Paper Girls is one of the other ones that he does. So we'll see. But definitely going to read Y the Last Man, Volume 3, and Saga Volume 9 through Hoopla. 2 more awesome graphic novels. And then for the last 3 books, I am going to be picking things out of my backlist library, my personal library, that I have not read yet. And for that, the first one is going to be The Perfect Stranger by Megan Miranda. I know that this is a thriller. I really don't know much about it. It looks like, this person is not who I think it is. My friend is not who I think it is kind of book. I got it from my local used bookstore, which is fantastic. because it looked cool. I have no idea. If I remember correctly, whenever I was, I think, in London in October, one of Megan Miranda's books was was plastered everywhere. Then again, I might be thinking of a whole different book that was plastered in the subway. But still, this looks awesome. I just like the color scheme. I think that's why I got it, is because the color scheme and the name sounded familiar. But Perfect Stranger by Megan Miranda. And this next one is also one that I got from my used bookstore. It is Jane Steele by Lindsay Fay. It is a Jane Eyre. Let's see. One of the blurbs says, a reimagining of Jane Eyre as a gutsy, heroic serial killer from the author whose work the New York Times describes as riveting and the Wall Street Journal calls thrilling. So apparently it is Jane Eyre if she was going to be a serial killer, which sounds great. There's murder. There's Victorianness. It looks awesome. I might like it, I might hate it, but there's murder, which means I'll probably like it. And then for the last book on my TBR for the month is a Book of the Month book, which I need to get to more, even though I haven't subscribed to them for that long. I get 3 books every month, and it really builds up my collection. And that is The Whisper Man by Alex North. I could be wrong. This was an October 2019 Book of the Month. I don't know when I got it. I get a lot of Book of the Months every month. But let's see. It is about a serial killer, abduction, and a missing child. So, mystery and thriller, which I'm excited about. And that said, excluding the Readathons, the series reads, the Manga Mondays, I am looking at a lot of books. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I am looking at 8 books on my TBR for the month of March, excluding everything else, which hopefully I'll have time for. But yeah, looks like a nice little stack. They're all shiny. Of course, we're missing the 2 graphic novels, which will be in virtual form. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. If you guys have any recommendations for books that you would like for me to read in the future, please leave them down in the comments below. If you have any opinions on books that I have on my TBR that you would like for me to know, please leave that in the comments too. If you like this video, please like it. And if you are interested in seeing more videos like this or supporting me as my channel grows, please consider hitting the subscribe button. And that's going to be it for today. I will update you guys at some point in various vlogs, or you might just not hear about this until the end of the month. Surprise! But yeah, hopefully I can tackle these and everything else that I have on my list. I read a lot, so who knows? And I'll see you guys next time. Have a fantastic day. Bye!